Alrighty, everybody. We are back today with The Wages of Sin. Solo Akachi has been a experience, to say the least. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the setup I've got over here. That's the locations. We'll get to setup in just a second here, but I want to take a look at the meager one experience that I got to spend going into this campaign, or going into the scenario rather. We only managed to find Walter Gilman's room, so we did manage to recover the Black Book, but unfortunately we could not get through any of the unknown locations. So all we got was the book for our trouble in a trauma. So we're now rocking a mental trauma and 2 physical trauma on top of the 2 trauma that we get from arcane research. So yeah, bit of a rough start, needless to say. But I have decided to spend the 1 experience we had remaining from way back in God, what was that? At Death's Doorstep. So I decided to take out my final emergency cache for a single copy of Sacrifice. It serves a similar purpose, but it also allows us to draw cards, which has been our downfall, needless to say, over the past few scenarios. Being able to draw cards has been pretty key. A lot of the scenarios have hinged on either drawing shriveling or drawing 6th Sense early enough to be able to basically function. Oops. There it goes. Alright, so let's go ahead and give that a shuffle. Let's go ahead and go back to here and give this flavor text a read real quick here. Ever since your encounter with the ghost in the witch house, you've been forced to reconsider everything you know about life and death. Keziah Mason died over 200 years ago, but her spirit remains in the spectral mist, the same mist you encountered in Joseph Mager's manor. One question lingers in your mind as you consider the events that have transpired. Does Keziah's spirit linger because of the mist, or is the mist caused by her presence? Which is the disease and which is the symptom? The more you delve into Arkham's history of witchcraft and persecution, the more restless you become. Night after night, you are assaulted by terrible dreams. Dreams of death and decay, of guilt and sin. There is an evil that dwells in this city, an evil that has long remained hidden in the darkness of Arkham's past. What's worse, your inquiry has reached an impasse. You believe that if you find the coven of witches you saw in the woods that fateful night, you might be able to learn more about Keziah Mason, or of this unspoken evil. As you go through your morning routine, your eyes drift across one of the smaller headlines of today's newspaper. Ghost sightings on Hangman's Hill. Residents of Uptown claim to have seen human shapes in the thick fog emanating from Hangman's Brook. It couldn't be a coincidence, could it? Then the realization dawns on you. If it's witches you seek, the only place you can be certain to find them is 6 feet underground, in the place where professed witches were executed all those years ago. Searching for specters in a graveyard may not be your safest bet, but you're not one to stay safe in this city anymore. Or sorry, you're sure one cannot stay safe. Anyway. My God. But you're not sure one can stay safe in the city anymore. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some setup here. So we've gathered all the encounter cards. We've set that aside. Randomly choose one of the 2 of Gallows locations in play, one of the 2 Heretics' graves, one of the 2 Chapel attics, one of the 2 Chapel crypt, and put them into play. Remove the other versions from the game, then put the other locations into play. Oh, yeah. So these locations have 2 special sides. So there's a normal side, and then there is a spectral side. So depending on what side of the locations that we're on, we'll draw from a different encounter deck in this scenario. So there's a special spectral encounter deck. So let's go ahead and give these a shuffle here. Yoink. Alright, so that one's removed. I'm going to do the same thing here. Yoink. Oops. There we go. We'll pick up these 2 chapel attic locations. We'll give these a shuffle. Oh, I just want one of them. There we go. And then same thing here with the chapel crypts. So what's nice about playing on tabletop is that it sets pretty much everything up for you. So here we are. We start in Hangman's Brook. So it has should have a clue on it. There we go. So it has 4 shroud, 1 clue, and it has an action to resign. Whose bright idea was this anyway? It was Matt Newman's idea, clearly. He's the one that made the game. Alright, so we've set aside the 4 spectral webs. And then we shuffle the 6 heretic enemies and set 4 of them aside at random. Remove the other 2 copies from the game. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back here. Should be all 6 of them there. And we'll go ahead and remove 2 of them. We'll just put the other ones there. And we'll put those locations and these heretics like way over here, so we don't have to. We don't want to look at them. We don't want to look at them. All right, so we've done that. The scenario uses, like I was saying earlier, it uses 2 separate encounter decks, which we can see over here. So we've got the spectral encounter deck and the regular encounter deck. Go ahead and give both of these a quick shuffle here. All right, so we've done that. Just kind of explains the rules there. And I think that's just more rules explanations. Yep. Yeah. And then it gives us the location placement. And I think that's it. Nice. All right. So we'll leave that there for later. Let's go ahead and just double check everything here. It looks good. Let's give these act and agenda decks a read here. Surrender yourself to the path of sacrifice. Consider the good of all before you act. Let go. You have come to Hangman's Hill to investigate reports of ghost sightings and strange activity in the woods the last few nights, and to learn more about the witches who once hid in Arkham's past. Witches who have since emerged from the shadows in pursuit of some unholy purpose. So it says locations cannot be flipped over, and it's 3 clues that we need to get in order to advance. And we have a doom threshold of 8. So let's go ahead and give our deck a shuffle. We are on turn 1 here, and let's go ahead and draw our opening hand. Alright, so we'll replace our weakness. Alright, I like seeing Sixth Sense and Shriveling. That's good. That's promising. So let's go ahead and pitch the other 3 for now. And then let's draw 3 new cards. Nice. Alright, I wish we had a way to gain resources or something. Like Uncage the Soul or Sacrifice, but we do have Renfield, so that'll be good. I think we're gonna go, let's first action, spend 2 resources to play Renfield. Let's then spend 3 resources in a second action to play Sixth Sense. And then let's go ahead and investigate with Sixth Sense. I believe it was a 4 shroud, but let's double check. It is a 4 shroud, 1 clue. It's even our good one. So let's see here. We use our willpower. We get +2 willpower, so that's going to be at a 7. We could use Renfield for 8, which I don't hate. So let's exhaust Renfield. We'll place a Doom on him to gain a resource. Yeah, and then as long as he has a Doom, we get an additional willpower. So we have 8 willpower. We do spend an Ancient Evils for it, but it is what it is. So that's going to be our last action. Investigating 8 versus 4. We get a -3, so we pass. Oops. Go ahead and take this clue. Alright, so that was our investigation phase of turn 1. There was no enemies, so let's go ahead and go into Upkeep where I'll gain a resource and draw a card. Go ahead and ready our Renfield. Oh, nice. There's our Encage the Soul. Alright, so we're off to a pretty good start here. Turn 2, let's go ahead and add a Doom to the agenda. So we're on Doom 1 of 8, well, 2 of 8 I should say. And then let's draw our encounter card of Bedeviled. Alright, so this card comes into play in our threat area, and then we can't trigger action abilities on cards we control, but we can test Willpower 3 to succeed and discard it. And alternatively, if there's an exhausted witch enemy in our location, we can test this to automatically succeed. Alright, so let's go ahead and spend our first action to do this. That's going to be 6 versus 3. I don't really want to commit anything else, so let's just go ahead and do that. 6 versus 3, Chaos Mix says. Elder Thing, which is a -2, so we pass. So this gets discarded. Very cool. Let's go ahead and use our second action to play Uncage the Soul and play our Shriveling. That comes into play with 5 charges. There we go. Alright, so we have 1 action left this turn. Let's go ahead and let's just take a quick look at the map here. We have a Haunted Fields, 3 Shroud, 2 Clues. Each spectral enemy at Haunted Fields gets +1 horror value, and it has a victory 1. It's connected to these other locations. Alternatively, we can move into the chapel during the Mythos phase. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So let's move here. And that's going to be our last action for the turn. Alright, so that was our investigation phase. There's no enemies, so we'll go ahead and move back into Upkeep here, where I will go up to 3 resources and draw a Drawn to the Flame for the turn. Not bad at all with our location. We might want to save that for the other location, so that we can just kind of move, play Drawn in the Flame. But let's see what we draw for our encounter card this turn. After, of course, I remember to add a Doom. We're on 3 Doom now, and we get it racked. So it gets put into play in our threat area, and then we get -1 to each of our skills for the first skill that we perform each round. And then it has the same test Willpower 3 to discard it. Alternatively, if there's an exhausted witch, you can automatically succeed. Alright, we have to get rid of these things. If you let them sit around for too long, they get way too much of a pain in the ass to deal with later on, all at once. So let's spend our first action. We were testing at a 5 versus 3. So we succeeded with a -1. And then let's go ahead and use our second action. We could try to get some clue suppression. I don't think we need to, though. Yeah, let's just investigate. That's gonna be 8 versus 3 here, Chaos Big says. Or no, it was one action to do that. So yeah, second action, investigate, we get a -1. And we pass, but we don't get to choose another location, so that's okay. So let's get a clue. So it was first action, get rid of that. Second action, do this. Third action, investigate again. That's going to be another 8 versus 3 here. Chaos Big says -4. We still pass. Alright, we are off to a good start here. We could advance. I want to wait until next investigation phase, though. So let's go ahead and move into enemy phase, and then we'll move into Upkeep, where I'll gain another resource and draw a card here. And we draw the Black Book. Interesting. I'm not sure if we're gonna put this to use or not. It's also just kind of good as an Unexpected Courage right now. So I might not play it. I might just hold on to it and use it as such. Because we're pretty strong right now. I don't think we're gonna need much more stat boosting. But I say that now. But let's move into Mythos Phase here. Let's go into turn 4. Let's add a Doom. We're 4 Doom of 8, and then let's draw our encounter card. We draw a Vengeful Witch. This spawns at the Gallows or the Heretic's Graves. It has Alert and Hunter, and has a forced effect that reads, when it would be defeated, you deal its damage and horror to each investigator at its location as direct damage and horror. Gross. Alright. And it spawns at the Gallows or the Heretic's Grave. 3/3/3. That is an annoyingly tough enemy. I guess I'll just leave it there for now. It's at the Gallows. That's fine. Yeah, so that's Mythos Phase. Let's go ahead and go back into Investigation Phase. I'm gonna just spend these 3 clues to advance. Soft chanting guides you to a gloomy clearing near the abandoned chapel. A circle of witchweed surrounds the clearing, swaying gently in the breeze. At the center of the clearing, a cloaked woman kneels in front of an unmarked grave, far from the remainder of the graveyard. You watch in quiet for a few minutes while the woman sings an old, somber melody. It reminds you somewhat of a child's lullaby, soothing, but with a dark gravity that betrays its purpose. As soon as the song ends, the woman's cloak dissolves into mist and she vanishes into a swirl of shadows. Spawn 1 set-aside heretic enemy at the following locations: the Gallows, Heretic's Graves, Chapel Attic, and Chapel Crypt, and then you add 2 clues per investigator to each of those locations, and add 1 clue to each other location. Alright, so let's do that first. So 1 goes here, 1 goes here, 1 goes here, oops, and 1 goes here. Alright, we got that, and then we need a bunch of clues. Alright, so 2 clues here, a clue here, 2 clues here, 2 clues here, a clue here, 2 clues here, and a clue here. Alright, so I got all that spawned. And then we check the campaign log. If you have 3 or more mementos listed under the mementos discovered, which we have exactly 3, we understand the tragic lyrics behind the witch's song. Each investigator puts into play 1 spectral web asset. Cool. So we get a spectral web as well. I'm just going to take the one I want, which is going to be this one. And that goes away. And then let's go ahead and just put this here for now. So what does the spectral web do? So we can spend an action, and investigators at our location can spend 1 to 3 clues as a group to fight. We can use this ability only to attack a Geist enemy. We could choose to use willpower instead of combat for this attack, and we get plus X skill value and deal X damage to this attack, where X is the number of clues spent on this ability. So it's kind of like a shriveling for us in this case. Well, kind of, except not as good, because shriveling comes into play with 5 charges, and we don't have to spend clues. But anyway, I digress. Alright, so I believe that's everything we needed to do for that. So we're on Act 2 now. Alrighty. With the mists comes the remnants of the past. Witches who were executed hundreds of years ago, and whose hateful spirits have returned to wreak havoc upon the living. If you can banish them, you might learn more about the Coven's secrets. So as a fast action, we can flip our location over. Group limit once per round at each location. Clues cannot be discovered at a non-spectral location. And objective: banish as many heretics as you can. If there are 4 copies of unfinished business in the victory display, we advance. So it's unlikely we're going to be able to do that, but we can at least try. We can at least try. So, like I said, I don't think we're going to be using this for its intended purpose, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and take our turn here. There's a clue here, so we could flip this over. Let's go ahead and do that, because we can do it at multiple locations. So let's flip. So each spectral enemy at haunted fields gets +1 horror value, and then it has a haunted ability that says move each nearest spectral enemy once towards this location, and then it has a victory point. All right, so let's go ahead and investigate. That's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -2. So we pass. Very nice. So we do manage to get a victory point. Let's go ahead and use our second action to move. We're going to move. Let's move here. So while investigating the graves, we get to add our willpower skill value to the investigation. But let's see here. Let's take a look at the heretic enemies. So they are a 4 combat, 2 health, 3 evade enemy, monster, geist, witch, spectral, and elite. They have +2 health, so it's really a 4/4/3 enemy. While heretic is at a non-spectral location, it gains aloof and cannot be engaged or damaged. And as a fast action, we can spend a clue to parlay at looking at the other side of the text without resolving its text, and then forced efforts defeated, flip it over and resolve the text on the other side. So we have 1 action left. It has 4 health. I kind of want to parlay with it. So I think I'm going to do that. So let's parlay. Some of these are just kind of impossible to do depending on your investigator. So yeah, let's spend a clue and flip this over and take a look here. All right, so can't be dead. Kasaya promised, we cannot die. The spiteful wraith does not relent. Your words cannot reach it, but perhaps you can lay it to rest by force. Flip this card back over its enemy side. It makes an immediate attack. The next time it's defeated, it is banished. Okay, so this is one we could probably reasonably deal with. Let's see. And then resolve the text below. Forced, if you looked at it by resolving the parlay ability, flip it over and it attacks you. Great. Bonk, bonk. That's annoying. Alright, so we have 1 action left. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip. Do I want to wait to flip? I could wait till next turn, alternatively. But if I do that, no, let's go ahead and let's just draw a card with our last action. All right, we draw a Drawn to the Flame. So that was our last action. Oops. There we go. All right, enemy phase. We do have enemies on the board. So this has Hunter. So this moves. Alright. I don't believe any of these other things move, right? Yeah, they don't have Hunter or anything like that. So they just kind of hang out. Alright, so that's enemy phase. Let's go ahead and move into Upkeep. I'll get my 5th resource and a card here. Draw our second Sixth Sense. So we got a pretty stacked hand at this point. Let's go ahead and move into Mythos Phase. I keep forgetting to use Renfield, not that it really matters, but I do keep forgetting. So we have 5 Doom of 8, and we are not at a spectral location currently. So I believe we just draw from the normal encounter deck. So let's do that. We draw a Diabolic Voices, which we know there are only 1 of. So we're currently testing a 6 versus 3 here. So we'll go ahead and test willpower 6 versus 3. Newman, take the wheel. A Skull, which is currently a X, where X is one higher than the number of copies of unfinished business in the victory display. I feel like you could have just said X plus 1. That would have been a little more elegant, in my opinion. But anyway. Alright, so we passed. Let's move into investigation phase here. Let's go ahead and flip that location over. Alright, so while investigating Heretic's Graves, you get to add your willpower to your skill value for this investigation. Haunted, reduce your willpower base to 1. Alright, so we really don't want to draw a tentacle. Alright, so this enemy no longer has aloof. And we have to punch it. So let's start by using a charge of shriveling. It's going to be, let's see here, 7, 8. Yep, 8 versus 4 here. Chaos Spike says -2. Very cool. So 2 damage. Let's go ahead and do it again. Second action here. Elder Sign. Nice. The Chaos Bag is being very kind to us this scenario. Very cool. So we get to add a charge to our shriveling. Perfect. Excellent. Really couldn't have asked for much more than that. Alright, so we did defeat it, so we get to flip it over. So it makes an attack. So yeah, you flip this card back over, it makes an immediate attack. The next time it is defeated, it is banished. So it's gonna hit us again, unfortunately. We've taken so much damage. So we'll take a damage on Renfield, and we'll take a horror ourselves. And then that other enemy is gonna move into our location as well. But we really don't have any means of evading it, unfortunately. So let's just go ahead and investigate. It's going to be, or sorry, let's just go ahead and fight again here, and that's going to be 8 versus 4 here. Chaosbag says a skull, so we have to take a horror. Already at 6 horror of 8. That is so brutal. Oh no, we're gonna lose Renfield. This is awful. No, god damn it. All right, so yeah, we do pass though, fortunately. But we have to take a horror. We pass. We deal this 2 damage. We take a horror. That was our last action, and then we move into enemy phase. But before we do that, I'm gonna activate Renfield for a resource because I can. And then Renfield's gonna take this attack and die. And then that other enemy that was at this location is going to come and chomp at the heel. Orive, this shriveling is looking mighty scary now. We need to get lucky. I at least want to do 1. If I can do 1, I just want to do 1. Alright, so that was enemy phase. Let's go ahead and move into upkeep. I'll gain a resource and draw a card. Sacrifice, okay. Not terrible. Not terrible. Could be better. We have plenty of cards and resources. So, I kind of want to put Fearless when we can afford it into this deck. We need ways to heal horror. But let's move into Mythos Phase. This is turn 6 now, and we're at 5 Doom of 8. We had to discard the Renfield. Gravelight. If Gravelight is drawn from the standard encounter deck, we shuffle it into the spectral encounter deck, and it gains Surge. Alright. Evil's Past. Put it into your threat area. If there's no copy of it, it gains Surge. When the encounter deck runs out of cards, you take 2 horror and test willpower 3. Alright, so there is a lot of things that can kill us right now. This is not good. This is not good. Alright, so let's go ahead and move into investigation phase. Let's get our actions back. Let's play Premonition to make sure we don't die. Okay. Skull. Skull is a -1 currently. Yeah. I have one. I have one fist icon, so I could. Why did I have to draw a skull? Why couldn't I have drawn something more useful? I'm gonna have to discard this for a wild icon. So I could try to evade. I could spend an action to evade one enemy. It might have to be this thing. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spend one action to evade. So I'll pump up to a 4. 4 versus 3, and then I'll draw the -1 here with the skull. And we'll evade this. And that's our first action. Second action, we're gonna hope to get lucky here. And we're just gonna shrivel this thing and hope we don't die. Ooh, alternatively, we don't have any clues to spend, and I think this means you have to spend clues. So it is what it is. So let's just fight. 7 versus 4. Chaosmic says. No, why? God damn it. Damn it. Well, that was a quick game. Died on turn 6. These games are brutal, man. We take so much horror so quickly. Do I kill the thing as a response to the attack? I don't. It just says if the symbol is revealed during the attack, you take a horror. Doesn't say after you succeed or fail. I'm not sure when that triggers, but I mean, either way, I die. But do I get to kill this thing is the question. Because I would have killed it. Because it's only a -1, but it died to the shriveling trigger. Not exactly sure how that plays out. It's kind of annoying. Let me just go ask really quick. I will be right back here. God damn it. So, no. Simply put, I die before I even get to kill this. Before I get to kill the Geist. God, no. Everything is going wrong. This is awful. Oh my goodness. I don't even like. Let's go back and double check how much experience I managed to earn here. I'm sure it was dismal. Alright, so as you can see here, I did not manage to kill this for a victory point or anything. We did get a victory point here, at least, so that's a thing. We got one. Woo! Alright, well, let's go ahead and let's take a look here. We did not reach a resolution, so we proceed to R1. So, rays of faded sunlight stream through the haze as the unnatural mist finally recedes. Oh no, sorry, we read Resolution 2. Resigned to your fate, you fall to your knees. The mist parts. Time slows to a crawl as the watcher emerges. Its spectral form glides along the ground, approaching with the soft shirtly of a approaching with the slow shirtly of a ticking clock. You close your eyes, unwilling to look upon your killer. Your fingers dig into your palm, and you brace yourself. The moment passes. When you open your eyes again, the creature is gone, along with the spectral mist. Have you been spared? No. In your campaign log, we record that the investigators survived the Watcher's Embrace. So we survived the Watcher's Embrace. Alright. And then in your campaign log, we record 4. Yeah. So 4 heretics were released into Arkham. Oops. 4 heretics. And then Vex is 3 or less, we get the Wisp, and then we earn 1 experience. Ugh. Alright, well, I guess I'll go ahead and set up for the greater good, too. I have plenty of time to play, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll set this up. And we'll go ahead and take me a couple of minutes here, so I'll be right back. And we will continue, and hopefully we can just scrape by. This has been quite a nightmare of a campaign. So give me a few minutes. I'm gonna take a bit of a break here. I'll probably be back in like 15-ish minutes, so stay tuned.